Winston Churchill said the destiny of man is not measured by material computations. When great forces are on the move in the world, we learn we're spirits, not animals. And he said there's something going on in time and space and beyond time and space, which, whether we like it or not, spells duty. You and I have a rendezvous with the professor.
Wrestling.
Dave, what's your, I guess, drive-through rule?
My drive-through rule is if there are more than 3 cars, I'm just gonna keep driving.
So you won't even be there? So
I'm like, I'll like, so like last night after the show, after Pavo, like we were gonna go to the drive, or we were gonna go to Taco Bell, but the lobby was closed. So, and how many cars were there? Like 6, 7?
yeah.
Okay, so I dropped you off at your casa, and then I went over. There's a Taco Bell over by my house, and that thing was probably like a dozen cars. I'm not gonna do it. And people when they go there, they act, oh, that's a whole other thing. People go to fast food restaurants and don't know what they're gonna order. The stuff doesn't change that much.
It does not. Well, that makes sense to me. That's definitely on my list of rules. We are the Professors of Wrestling, and we want to be Taco Bell famous. Subscribe to the YouTube page. We are working on new content. Hopefully you all have watched the Bryce Cannon interview. Like the Facebook page. Let us know what you think and provide us with feedback and suggestions. Follow us on Instagram at the Professors of Wrestling. Share it all. Spread the word. Join in the discussion, as we want to be a community.
Yes, we do. So, we got some possible news. We don't know what's going on.
Possible news. We're just speculating at this point.
Yes, 100% speculating. Do you want to spill the beans on our speculation?
I think it's been about a year.
Yeah.
I don't think Spinebuster's coming back.
I don't think so either. I was looking on their Facebook page this morning.
Right.
And there was it's mostly stuff about Crunch Fitness.
Okay.
And nothing about the promotion.
Well, if they are not coming back, or if they are coming back, we do thank them for their time.
Yes.
It's been a fun ride going to there on Wednesdays.
Yes, it has been. I think it's I think convenient.
Right.
For us. A short commute.
It was cool. We have an update on the Professors of Wrestling.
Yes.
This is my last show, Dave.
I know you told me. Well, that's not news to me.
Oh, yeah.
We had the discussion earlier in the week.
We did. I am moving away.
With your mysterious text messages. We got to talk.
Yeah. That's a great way to break it to you, right?
Yeah. Well, I'm glad I came over to your office. I'm like, what's up? And you're like, I'm leaving, Dave. You're moving. I was like, all right, cool. I'm glad you did face-to-face and over text message. I appreciate that.
Yeah, you don't break up with someone over text.
Yeah, well, yeah. I appreciate that. As an old person, I appreciate that sentiment. So, yeah, and you're going to be missed. And I guess we could talk about the future of the POW, Professors of Wrestling. We'll talk about that in Talking Points. But, no, man, it's been a fun ride. I don't know how many years have we been doing this?
2, 3.
3? I don't know, yeah. And I think we've gone through some ups and downs. I don't know, yeah, maybe personally, but also like with COVID and the promotions.
Right. We've battled some things, so
yeah,
it's been fun. There's our update. But for one last time, this week's sponsor is
Ben Owens Music.
Hi, this is Dave from the Professors of Wrestling. I'm at 1803 Plum Street, home of Ben Owens Music, where they've got basses, electric guitars, acoustic guitars, violins, keyboards, guitar pedals, amps, instrument repair, guitar, drum, and piano lessons. Learn from the experts. Ben Owens Music, Valdosta's music store.
And we're back.
Yes, we are.
And while, we may not be promoting Ben Owens after this, make sure that you still go to that pink house.
And they will be at the Boozy Flea Market, which is down at the Georgia Beer Company, the 29th of, we're in May, aren't we? Of 29th of May from 1 to 5 p.m. There'll be one of several vendors down there. So if you enjoy a nice cold adult beverage while perusing vintage stuff, such as records, furniture, that's all fishing gear, whatever. Just go down there. It's a cool community thing here in the Valdese area, and I like going. We both like going to the Georgia Beer Company. It's a cool place to hang.
It definitely is.
I think there will also be a food truck down there.
Gotta love food trucks.
Yes.
Some highlights, Dave.
From our tenure as the Professors of Wrestling.
Yes, I was thinking about that this week.
Yeah.
Did you have a top 5? Or
You go first, and then let me fill out my top 5.
ouch! All right, that's pressure. So
Well, I mean,
I thought about it this week, right?
You've thought about it more than I have.
I think one would have to be seeing Duke go from ref
Yeah.
to this manager of South Georgia and, North Georgia.
Yeah.
I would have to say going to NWA. That was pretty fun.
Yeah.
Getting on Georgia Wrestling History's radar.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. Seeing J2 Strong become champion and hanging out with you, Dave. Hanging out.
Man, you were a sweetheart. I'm filling mine out still, so I need you to
ramble
a little bit on there because I'm thinking about it.
We got to give it up for the sweeper because who knew, he started out as, or we saw him as like help for like the wrestling promotions. Then he became a ref and now he's wrestling. So seeing the sweeper do his thing has been pretty fun to see. Johnny Maverick winning the title, Logan Creed flying through the ring, outside wrestling in which it's super cold and we have those hand warmers. That's been fun.
All right, I'm ready.
Cool, because I didn't know how long I was.
I'm gonna go and I'm gonna start with number 5. I'm gonna say I think what highlights is how we've been able to help promote South Georgia wrestling, and then how that's opened up avenues. Like we were going to Alabama there, and that was a fun road trip.
Right.
And it's sad that promotion is not going on anymore, and just the outreach and how we've helped elevate that and see our small part. I'm not saying it's just us going in there. Enjoyed going to the NWA thing, and I was like, oh man, they're back in Atlanta. Maybe if you're up in the Atlanta area and there's something going on, we make that happen again. I think when I took you to Fest Wrestling, I built it up. I hyped it up pretty big.
You did.
And I know when someone hypes something up, and you go and it falls flat. Like I always think of like a restaurant, like this is the greatest place in the world. You're like, it's all right. It's not terrible. It's not great, but it's not as big. But I think it met up to all the hype that I was talking about.
Definitely.
Both you and Andrew were like, yeah, it was a great evening. It was good wrestling. I'm gonna say when we were talking about this we were coming back from SWA last night as the El Nino and the Knight brother.
That was a great run that we had there.
Yeah, we were our role within that.
Yeah.
And I think also another highlight is the work we did with Spinebuster. Like, and obviously COVID kind of kiboshed a lot of what our plans we were going to do with this was like we were going to do like almost like live a wrestling show, basically our own miniature version of like AEW or help produce that end of it. I thought that was and all the things that we did with that. So that would be my top 5, just quickly off the top of my head.
That's an excellent top 5. I'm glad you came up with it. Good job, Dave. Good job.
Good call. Good question.
The next one on our talking points is what would we like to see in the future for South Georgia wrestling? And
yeah, I think we kind of talked some about stuff last night. I mean, we always talk in the car talk.
Yeah.
Like, hey, wouldn't this be cool? Like, obviously, we just have an opinion.
Right. We're not like professionals.
No, we have an opinion. I think the bottom line is we're fans,
right.
And we realize that, and we're not taking the bumps in the ring. And it's previously, we've gotten heat, as they say in the business, for I mean, we support the faces and boo and hiss the heels.
Yeah,
the baddies out there. So, and we talk about. I think we have a good eye for it in what we do, and we're observant. But things I would like to see, and I think one thing we've talked about is like help promote the women in there, not to sound like super woke person or whatever. Like, but there's a lot of good, talented young ladies. And I think T-Pain. Or not T-Pain, T Gaines, G's and Pete's. T Gaines is one of those people. Like we'll talk about this later, but like she put in some new movesets last night,
Right.
and we're both like, oh damn, that's new. Like that, seeing that her grow as a wrestler, and seeing that division grow a little bit, and seeing who was it, Locke last night.
I think it was Emily Locke. Yeah.
Emily Locke was like a really good opponent after seeing Bro.
Yeah. And then, what is it? We'd love to see Catalina Perez and Lexi Gomez come back.
Yeah.
It's been cool to see Kylan King go from, I think we saw her one random night at SWA
100%.
to go to AEW.
Well, she was in Fest. I saw her at Fest a couple times. I'm like, yeah, that's where Kaylin is? And you're like, all right, I'll come. And then you're always out of town. Anyway.
Yeah. My out of towns for Fest.
Yeah.
But, and then she was on AEW. I think she's wrestling the NWA champion soon, the women's champion. So seeing that go from here has been pretty cool. I'd like to see, promote your local independent wrestling.
Yeah.
Share their posts, like it, spread the word, bring a friend whenever you're going. We sat next to
a whole freaking family.
Yeah. And
not just like when we think of family, like extended family, like seem like cousins and aunts and grandmas
and I thought that was pretty cool just to see them all come support
Sam Phoenix.
So make sure that you support your local wrestling promotion.
Here's something I'd like to see. I'd like to see like some of the talent we saw here when we first started doing the Professors of Wrestling, and kind of like sliding into it, is seeing that talent increasing and go up and like kind of go to whatever the next level is, to use that cliche statement. Like see them and like what are some of the promotions, like maybe Fest or something like that, or move up to like the bigger independent.
Yeah. What is it? Southern Honor
Yeah.
seems to be the hypest thing in Georgia, as it won that whole wrestling promotion. So getting there seems to be good.
So whatever the next step is on
Right.
that. So, and I think like make a living at doing this if that's their dream and passion.
Right.
I think that would be cool. I would like to see someone else also pick up the hat and help do some promoting too, and not always just be relying on a couple of people to do it. I mean, if this is your passion, you're really into it, but you don't want to take bumps, man. This is a great forum to be able to do something like this.
Yeah, and podcasting is, it's very accessible to everyone.
Yes, it's not as difficult as it was like 10, 15 years ago.
No. The future of POW, Professionals of Wrestling. Dave, what are you going to be doing?
Well, I was thinking about this, and I don't know if it's dead or not.
Cool.
What do you think?
Never say never. Isn't that the theme going throughout this whole wrestling year?
I mean, like, I definitely, like even though you're going to be gone, we could possibly do some remote stuff.
Yeah.
On there. Obviously, we have the unofficial member, Andrew.
We'll have to ask him, yeah.
Yeah, ask on that. Could be the future of different direction of what we're going to do. When I say we, I'm speaking kind of the royal thing, because I'd like to, you're part of the brand as well.
I appreciate that.
And just do it. But, there's some options. I think we're both getting a little bit, one, because our workload is just so, like...
It was a crazy workload year.
It's a crazy workload year and things, and there were some items we wanted to do that I think, like, our heart was in the right place. I think we just were just like, ugh, this is... Because we don't get paid in it, and that's not the driving force behind it.
Right.
It's like you do it for fun, and you're not feeling it because of work stuff outside of like going to the wrestling and things like that. And you're just like, I feel like it would just be half-assed.
Right.
And I think we want to do it to the best of our ability, and because we'll throw shade. We've listened to some stuff done, and like we do. You can do that level, and I think we want to put out a high quality product.
True.
When we put a high quality podcast, we want the best possible videos, and I think we've grown and it's gotten better.
I think so too.
So not to tarnish that, but help grow it. Because and obviously, I think we were booming, and then like I could still remember this before like everything in the lockdown, all the COVID stuff. We had like stuff lined up, and things were just popping and snapping, and we were growing enormously from just two ding dongs sitting here in my office talking on his El Nino on $5 mics. That wasn't $5 mic. So I hope you've been able to find a better charger for your phone since the last time I saw you do a live. And I hope you're alive, El Nino.
He's somewhere around there in the world.
Probably like living on Kraft macaroni and cheese and what is that stuff? Ramen noodles.
Yeah.
Or whatever little kids live on. But like we've kind of grown to now we kind of like in this studio here at the Professor's Enclave and whatnot. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I definitely think need to take a break and retool it and get together and maybe before you leave, get together with the unofficial member and see if this is something we want to continue on.
Sounds legit. I can't wait to see the answer and what happens with that.
So I don't know. I mean, maybe should we throw it out there? Do you think we should continue on in some variation? Throw it out there to the people.
All right. If you're still listening now,
Yeah.
14 minutes in or 16 minutes in, should we continue?
But also, I don't want to say like this isn't on our thing, but hey, we got to thank the people that have been really super fans.
Right. Beatrice.
I would almost throw that as like a highlight on there, like Beatrice. The promotions for the most part have been like really cool
Amazing. Yeah.
and open to like just us like, hey, we're doing this thing.
We're two random guys. You don't know us.
Yeah.
And we want to promote your promotion.
Yeah. And I think our goal was to be positive.
Right.
And not like, I mean, it would be easy to like the stuff that needs to be worked on or whatever that is and point that out and be dwell on the negative, but like help promote. And we've seen that benefit the community in a lot of ways. So we need to be thankful to like, again, the super fans out there, the wrestlers who came in to do those interviews, those sit down interviews.
We appreciate you.
Yeah. Opportunities. Like we got to meet some legend.
Bullet Bob.
Bullet Bot right before he passed away, man.
Right.
He was just that was a really cool thing.
I'll always remember it. I
was thinking President Vesson. He's like a walking Wikipedia of like wrestling knowledge and history.
Yeah.
The amount of stuff he was like, I'm like, I mean,
I didn't know.
yeah, I didn't know. I feel like my brain was big into about wrestling, the history behind it. I mean, I think I know some of it, but not to that extent.
True.
So I don't know. Anything else you want to throw out kind of on that note?
I want to thank the Coal Miners Club for you one last time as you all tried to never win a championship with your horrible manager, Diamond Duke. So that one's for you, Coal Miners Club.
Ooh, can I throw one out on that note? Bryce Canyon.
Bryce,
You ever want to see what a college degree looks like? Let me know. I'd be more than happy to send you a copy
yeah,
of what that looks like.
cool. Keep kayfabe alive.
That's right.
We got promotions
Yes.
and we have some news.
That was kind of fun.
It was. What do we got, Dave?
Let's see. You want to talk about upcoming shows and then just kind of talk about the last two SWA shows?
Sounds legit.
All right. Fest is coming in July. I saw that last week. I forgot the date. That's when I'm like, hey, Fest is going. And you're like, I'm not going to be around. I thought you would be on one of your road trips. But Fest is happening. If you've not, and we talked about it at the top of the show, if you've not been to a Fest wrestling show, how long was that? Like 4 hours when we went to in December? It didn't seem like 4 hours.
It did not.
I mean, it went by crazy, and it's action. So check out. It's going to be down in Gainesville, and
July 3rd.
July 3rd. Thank you. So it's like celebrate America with wrestling, and you get to see. I don't know, like Effie's probably on that.
Yeah.
He's on the poster.
He's on the poster.
He's on the post. But you see a lot of good talent that are like those are the people that are you're probably going to see like in probably like AEW type recruits from there. So that's like the step before they move up. So those are the bigger names in independent wrestling. So check that out. And then Broken Bones.
It's coming back to Waycross July 16th.
Yes.
That's always great. Good time. I mean, it's a fair, easy drive for most people to make from Valdosta or wherever you're at in South Shore.
And anywhere in that place is a good seat.
Right. Georgia Independent Professional Wrestling.
Yes.
Is today.
Yep.
That starts at 4. Doors open at 4. The time is 5 p.m. It is called Turn It Up. You'll see the Renegade Enforcer. Will he continue his reign of undefeated streak? Right way to Reno. So some of the great names, they're releasing those matches throughout this week.
And if you're like, I don't know all the storylines, they got all their stuff posted, all their shows. I think they delayed a bit. on YouTube.
Right. They're really great about posting those. So,
and their Facebook page is really good at keeping up with like storylines and what's going on. I mean, that's one of those great like people you see talent. You're like, oh yeah.
So make sure you check them out. Whether if you're in the Macon area, if you have nothing to do today,
you can stop by Buc-ee's, pick up one of their brisket sandwiches everybody's talking about.
Right. That's a great time.
All right, we were at SWA last night, and we also went to the previous one.
Right. What is it? Storm's retired.
Yeah. You want to talk about that one first?
Storm's retired. They surprised him with his former partner. His partner at one time.
Salvation 22. We took some videos. I'm trying to remember because it was a minute ago in life. Yeah.
James Morrison is still,
April 16th.
James Morrison is still trash and still continues to terrorize Vinny every single day of the week.
100%. Mason Price.
Surprise. He has notes, Dave. I forgot Dave has notes.
I took notes on this one. I mean, that was our new plan, is you take pictures and I take notes.
Right.
Came out and surprised. And it was a genuine kind of surprise thing, which turned into a three-way with Vinny,
right,
Mason, and the Storm on his I'm quitting. He's retiring from the wrestling racket.
At the end of the year or the summer.
Yeah, whatever his tour is going to be.
Right. What else was there on that night?
Let's see. Scyther was on that one. You kind of started seeing the beef with Scyther and
Dan Lydon. How's that going to turn out overall? And I'm really excited for those two to maybe one day have some form of a hardcore match.
Yeah,
because I think they'd really do it well.
I think it would. Yeah, I think those they know each other because they were tag team partners, and I think they lost the tag team belts at one time and regained them
right
at some point. So let me go. Let's see notes on here.
It was T Gaines versus Andrew.
The ref.
The ref. He should have never made that choice to go up against T Gaines. But he's getting back. He's getting some wrestling chops.
Yep.
As he goes through this whole ordeal.
Oh, there was the baddest man alive, Leroy. Was went against the Southern Assassin, Ryan James.
That one had to be my favorite match of the night.
It was a good one. I think that's probably one of the best matches we'd seen Ryan James in a long time.
They didn't focus on his knees or his legs so much. It was really just.
I think the problem is like Ryan James is a big guy,
right?
And Leroy, the baddest man on the planet alive, he was a big dude, and there was some moves that he put out, like what off the top rope,
like he flipped over. Yeah,
it was some amazing moves, and I think that helped shine the match. And I think when you have a big dude, listen, Spider's a great bumper.
Yeah,
and I think we both have some love in our heart for Spider.
Right, there's no doubt about that.
In there, and I think we've shined for him for a long time. But and you see him, a large dude, throw him around at a certain point. You're like, well, what happens if he actually had somebody that could really push you?
Right.
So that was a good match. That was one of the better matches of the evening. I think. Like I was going through, I'm like. I'm looking through my notes.
I understand. Well, riff. I noticed that night that nobody in the that all the belts were missing. Like Dark Rage didn't have his belt.
Yeah.
It was something I was just like, man, did Dark Rage lose his belt like Scrotus? Something to think about.
Yeah. I'm looking through that. I thought like the Dan Lydon with did he? No, not that one. I can't remember, but I'd probably say that Leroy match.
Yeah,
was probably one of the best ones on the card that night. It was like one of my favorite ones.
Which takes us to last night. I hope.
Yeah.
We talked about it earlier on. It was a packed house last night.
Yeah.
And it seemed to be like everyone was there for Sam Phoenix.
Yeah. His debut match.
His debut match for Southern Justice.
Well, I think he was with Southern Justice at the previous one.
Right.
He was kind of like
he was a figure in the wind.
Yeah. Part of his, I'm going to say like group clique or whatever.
Cool.
his posse.
His posse. But to see him at the forefront at this first match, what were your thoughts going in, and did they change?
I think when you see somebody who you've only seen as somebody's coming in the building, who you've only seen as a security guard, you're like, well, so he's been training, so he's green.
Right.
So what's going to happen? So you hope for the best. And then it was, I was for a first match, pretty impressive.
It was. I was like, man, I didn't know that he had all these moves. In terms, the drop kick surprised me.
Yeah.
Walked his talent around the ring.
Yeah.
I thought that he, for the most part, you got to see that he wasn't as in control at times.
Right.
But he was still able to take the bumps for someone who was new.
I mean, it had a little bit of everything in there.
Right.
But nothing kind of like there was some chain wrestling. There was a little bit of like high flying, nothing too severe. And I don't think it's like he did anything outside of what he knows right now.
Right. He didn't try to just do a bunch of spots to get the crowd over.
It wasn't like spot.
So I think I appreciate that. I look forward to hearing about all of what he does in Southern Justice. Who knows what his next match will be.
And he lost, but he got a lot of respect from the crowd.
Right.
I think we both commented yesterday or last night. It was like, this is the most hype we'd seen, excited we'd seen Pavo for an opening match, and I thought that was a really good choice for an opening match.
So shout out to you, Sam Phoenix, for bringing the opening vibes to Pavo.
It really helped set the tone, because I think like with the people we were sitting next to, that was like their first time coming there, and they're asking questions.
Right. And I was just like, yeah, this is the guy, and this is a family. Some other highlights from the night, I'd have to say, we talked about it a little bit earlier. T. Gaines and the lock match. I really thought, well, I wouldn't say I didn't think that T. Gaines was going to lose because it's T. Gaines.
Right.
But Locke did whatever to get as close to make it convincing.
Yeah.
At one point, I definitely thought she was going to win.
I thought so too. I mean, like it was at a certain point, it felt like it was a coin flip, particularly towards the end of it.
Right.
When they were both cashed and just exhausted, and came back. And again, we saw a couple new movesets in there, which was exciting to see that, because at a certain point, you can sometimes predict what the match is going to be. And like, okay, here they go with the finisher. And I think we know what T. Gaines' finisher is, but there was some other things. There were some false finishes in that were, I think, kind of helped build the tension and tell a really good story for that match.
And that's what we appreciate. You know, who knows what's going to happen in there.
I'm sorry?
I would love to see this one go a few more times. I know we talk about repeated matches, but I'd like to see this one again.
I think I want to go back to unless you had anything else to add about that one. I want to know. Seidler was teamed up with Doref.
Yes.
And Dan Lydon was teamed up with Kelly Clark.
The Chicken and Gunther.
Like, I think I see that as a good tag team thing. What confused me, there was some confusion with that one, because they both went out. Seidler and Dan went outside, started like battling, and then went back to the locker room, to the back of the Pavo Peacock Center.
They should have been counted out.
I don't know what happened. There was some referee confusions right there, because neither Doref or Kelly Clark
were the legal person.
So I was confused.
I was very confused in terms of some of the counting.
Yes.
That night.
And I didn't understand why they had to go to the back of the back to the locker room. Story. I mean, are they trying to progress that story? So it was just confusing as a fan's perspective. Knowing it was building up to like where they're like the split up between them, get it. Like there's gonna be heat between those two. I get it. But what happened last night was a little confusing.
Well, I would say I'd love a promo from Seidler, but we probably wouldn't understand it.
It'd be very gruntle.
Yeah.
I don't know if gruntle is a word, but on there.
So it'll be interesting to see, who knows, maybe at Night of Champions.
I think I mean, the positives from that is, like, I saw some cool stuff from Kelly Clark. Like, he really took,
Kelly Clark's all over the place. I mean, from wrestling Dark Rage
Yeah.
to wrestling wrestling with one of the Knight brothers, tag team, singles. Definitely him and his Chicken Jerry.
Yeah.
We'll see where they go. I know you don't like the chicken.
I'm not a stuffed animal or rubber chicken fan.
Yeah. So we'll see how that ends up. Another highlight of the night.
Was it Landon Lashley and Spider?
Yeah. As we talk about, Spider can take bumps.
I would like to see. I think we talked about on the card, like Spider
Versus
v. Kelly Clark, because I think those are two in their same weight divisions.
Yeah, you're the king of the lightweights. Let's see you face a lightweight.
Yeah, I would like to see like the Kings of Hollywood start pressing that one.
Bring back the AIWF cruiserweight title. I know it's been discontinued or something.
Yeah. Or
But
do like a lightweight, featherweight, or whatever. Because there's a lot of cats that aren't that. They have that kind of build. They put on great matches. I think then it would accent. I mean, it would make their talents pop more.
right. There was this one high flying moment from Spider where he jumps off the top of a rope, and you gotta say, whenever these people are jumping
Yeah,
off the top rope, that there's a level of trust
100%.
that the person catches you. And I gotta still give it to Landon. He's no what does he say? He's not dropping anyone these days.
No.
Based off, and we've seen spots in which that one doesn't go as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that was really cool there. I'm excited for Southern Justice.
I think if Sam Phoenix
Yeah.
and Landon Lashley create like a crew, I think you could have like the Southern crew.
You wouldn't keep it as Southern Justice?
I mean, you could do it multiple ways. You could do everybody whoever falls into the Mara Wrestles.
Because he's growing.
He's growing, yeah. So like I don't know, like what would you say that he's managing? Like what would you call that? Like
He's the sheriff.
a brood? I don't know. Whatever the technical, yeah. Like his whole talent pool or whatever you want to say like that, or maybe Southern Justice breaks off of that and does its own thing would be interesting.
Maybe this is how you get your lumberjack match, which I truly hope you get.
I love a lumberjack match.
Yeah, so hopefully they all form to where some way you get that.
But I think when you form kind of like one of those things, like there's a number. Like I think 4 is the magic number. 3 to 4 people within that.
What is it? Like it's not the 4 horsemen.
Yeah, well, you have like the 4 horsemen, or like what was that? Oh shoot, he's WWE champion. I'm totally drawing a blank.
Roman Reigns.
Roman Reigns' crew when he was
Gotcha. Shield.
Yeah, the Shield was a good one. I mean, NWO was cool at the beginning, but everybody and their mom became part of NWO at a certain point. But I think like there's like 4 is the magic number you want within your group there. But anyway, we digressed. Do we want to talk about the dog chain match?
We do have to talk about the dog chain match because there's so many rules in the world of. You talked about it, and we've seen it as where you got to touch all 4 corners.
Right.
Google says you can win by pinfall or submission. I think the note or the thing that was mentioned last night was until the person is beaten senseless.
Yeah.
There's a lot of rules.
There is.
Or variations of it. And you just got to know once you come into what you're getting.
I think we talked about it as a fan. And if you've seen like the last couple dog collar matches we've seen, it's been you got to touch the corners.
Right.
I think AEW did it as
Andrew's here. Come on in, Andrew.
but like AEW they did a dog collar match where you had to touch the corners.
Right.
So like if for the fans out there, again, educate the fans, particularly this is the first time. If you're going to do a dog collar, what type of dog collar matches? Because we are both like, well, someone's going to touch the 4 corners. It was more like a dog chain hardcore match.
Understandable. And at that one point, you got to think about, you got to use the chain. I mean,
Yeah.
but you don't have to. It was just basically a choking match of, I'm going to choke you on the ropes here.
There's a lot of choking.
Right. Versus actually wrestling. And then, and if
Like
you're,
we saw what is it, Pure Goodness, and was it Proc?
yes,
And we saw that was a pretty good one, and it was suspenseful.
heavy endurance in that kind of match.
Yeah,
And also, I think one of the things is we talk about those spots of where you're going to throw your opponent into the crowd.
Yeah.
If the crowd's not feeling it, let's not do it.
Yeah.
You don't have to call someone
Insult people that way.
Yeah. Like we talk about in a world of where you're overstepping as a heel and what people are going to allow you to say to them. It's getting kind of low.
I think too, if you're going to insult the crowd, which I think that if you've not been to Pavo, it's a give and take right there. And there's certain times I'm like, fans have crossed the lines.
Right.
Like I'm like a big thing. If you're gonna do it, be creative with it. Like you could be like the lowest rung, lowest common denominator, low hanging fruit type situation. You can point out like issues, physical things. Get creative with what you're gonna say. There's things there's something that could have been said last night that was low hanging fruit to what he was said, and so I could see why that person was upset. And I'm glad we left before whatever happened may or may not have happened afterwards. Hopefully cooler heads prevailed within that. But I get James was doing what he thinks is what a heel does. I get it. But what's the line? I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, I may be contradicting myself there. I think it's low-hanging fruit to what Barb was thrown out there. There could have been a lot more creative things.
Right, and then attacking the mom to the far left. So it's going to be an interesting show next month where we see who ends up quitting or leaving SWA.
Well, you weren't there. This is prior. This is what's going with Bill. This is when we first started going to SW. I think probably the first one. This is a long time ago. There was I got a picture of it somewhere. There was I may have sent it to you eventually. Someone took it's a poster board, regular whatever one you do for presentations, and had written rules like don't bring your own food in, don't bring knives or guns in, because apparently somebody pulled a gun on somebody previously. And we'd seen some wild stuff in there. We were talking about Raw Grimes,
right?
Like when he pulled that dude's leg out
and threw it into the ring.
That was insane. Obviously, he was part of that.
Yeah.
Like you think, that was some great heel moments where he would be like, and we've seen Raw Grimes just like really rile up the crowd and do some creative stuff on there. I think like that's the bar you need to do better. Or even when like Dax and the Renegades were heels, some crazy stuff and things out there.
It's not always about calling people out of their names, or you got to be a little bit more creative.
I think you can do it, just got to be creative about it.
Right.
Fun. I think like you can be funny and stinging, but like you've been burned before, where you're like, oh, that stings, but it's kind of funny. I got to get my hat to it.
Right.
Those type of things.
Cool. Well, Andrew's in the building. Welcome to the show. You're our first in-studio guest person. I'm gonna give you the mic.
Hello there.
Andrew, I think here we go. Andrew is become the unofficial third professor of wrestling.
Well, thank you. I'd like to think so.
So on that one, and we appreciate you joining us on our. You've gone to some other you've got some other places as well. Like you and Dorrian have gone to what's that place down in Orlando?
Movement Championship Wrestling.
So,
and we went to the one in Florida, at Jacksonville.
Continental.
Yeah, Continental.
I was like, man.
We've gone to several. We've gone a couple in Jacksonville. And it's like,
I was like,
there's GIP. What is it? The one I could never get was like Full Combat, whatever.
Destiny Combat.
Yeah, thank you.
Destiny Combat Championship Wrestling.
So, yeah. So appreciate you just joining us on our journey, and maybe we'll talk later if we want to continue this somewhere down the road. If you want to be the new Dorrian.
Yeah, we'll talk.
Word.
All right, team, we're going to bring this to a close one final time on my end.
Hopefully, I think I'm seriously thinking about Waycross and Fest Wrestling.
Yes.
On that one. But anyway, how about before we do your final call out, any final words?
Thank you to everyone who let me talk on a mic for 3 years about wrestling. Thank you for letting me film you and your moments as we went through life. My 1 terabyte hard drive full of wrestling videos, photos, and moments throughout this past 3 years are pretty great. And yeah, I appreciate it. I'm Dorrian. You can find me on Twitter still at D2Baber.
I'm Dave, and I'm at Just a Professor.
And we are the Professors of Wrestling, and we want to be Taco Bell famous still. So subscribe to the YouTube page. We are working on new content for 2022. Believe it or not, I'm still have some stuff dropping as soon as I leave. Like the Facebook page. Let us know what you think and provide us with feedback and suggestions. Follow us on Instagram at the Professors of Wrestling. Share it all. Spread the word.
Share your love to Dorrian.
Cool. Yeah, let's do that.
Share some love. Both wrestling and fans, and anybody that we've talked to over the years, man. Let's share some love as Dorrian is moving on, but I think he'll be back eventually in some form or fashion.
Who knows? I'm on my farewell tour like the storm.
You'll be back in 6 months.
See ya.